This is episode 1 in a 7-episode series discussing whatever character in Cult of the Lamb is based off of. In my research, I found that most of the characters, except for the followers, which are actually just a random shuffling of letters, are based off of some kind of god or deity, while others I couldn't find very much research for. This is the video on the bishop, and without further ado, let's begin. Lamb are widely known to be sacrificial beings and are used in many religions as sacrifices. Also, calling someone a sheep can be a derogatory term, meaning that they like to go with the herd, so to speak, and like to do what everyone else is doing. Not really much you can say for Lambert, but I thought I'd give him a shout-out. Leshy is the youngest of the 5 bishops and resides in Darkwood. Can't for the life of me find what he's the bishop of. I can't remember. I can't find it on the internet, so if anyone knows, just put it down in the comments. It's future me, I found it. He's the bishop of chaos. I'm very smart. Leshy is based off a god from the Slavic mythology who is known as a trickster spirit and likes to lure travelers astray. Depending on the story, he either lives alone or with his wife, which is this word that I cannot pronounce, I won't try and pronounce, who is a fallen or cursed woman who has left her village to go live with him, and their children. Some of the children are theirs, though others are ones who have gone missing in the woods. Leshy is described as an old giant with thick green hair or fur that covers his whole body. He has stars for eyes, and his skin is as rough as tree bark. He has blue blood, and because of this blue skin, he is rarely seen but can be heard whistling, laughing, or singing among the trees or marsh, depending on where you are. Leshy is a shapeshifter, but mostly takes the form of either wolves or bears. Leshy is a protector of the forest, but is also known to abduct babies who haven't been baptized, or children who stray too far into the woods to pick berries or fish. Hecate is the frog-like bishop of famine, and resides in Anura. Okay, sidebar on Anura. So, Anura is a Greek word, and it means no tail. Okay, and that's going to make sense in a second. So what you have here is you have a taxonomic pyramid of classification, and Anura is an order, which include frogs and toads. It basically means that they start out with a tail, but then lose it as they mature into adulthood. And that's where the word Anura comes from. It's an order, but way before that it was a Greek word. Anyway, that has nothing to do with Hecate, really, but it is something interesting that I did want to mention because we are going through what everyone's based off of. And while this isn't based off a deity or anything, I thought it would be interesting to mention. Hecate is based off an Egyptian goddess whose name is usually spelled with a Q instead of K. Frogs were a symbol of fertility, and thus Hecate is one of many ancient Egyptian fertility goddesses. Calamar is the squid-like bishop of sickness, despite what some Wikipedias will tell you. Some tell you he's a fish. He's clearly a squid! Anyway, Calamar means squid, and as far as I can tell, Calamar is based off the dish calamari. Shimura is the spider-like bishop of war and conquest and or knowledge. I've done a decent amount of Googling, and the most I could find is that Shimura, spelled S-H-A-M-A-R-A, is Arabic for ready for battle. Narinder is either a cat or a jackal, and is the bishop of death. He was banished down to what I can only assume is the land of the dead by his 4 siblings. In banishing him, each of the siblings lost a part of themselves. Leshy his eyes, Hecate her throat, even though she can still talk, Calamar his ears, and Shimura her brain. This represents see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil, and think no evil. And apparently, Narinder represents do no evil. The name Narinder means Lord of Man or Lord of People, and is a very common name in India. Narinder, as far as I can tell, also has something to do with the zodiac signs, but I can't understand half of what they wrote on this very trustworthy website I found, so I'm not going to get into it. Before I end the video, I'm going to talk about the theory that the 5 bishops represent the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. In most of the sources I found, it says that the 4 horsemen are conquest, war, famine, and death. In one singular source that I found, I'm still trying to find another one that backs this up, it says that the horsemen are war, famine, plague, and death. So, going off of that measly research, conquest and war I'm going to group together and say that represents Shimura. Famine represent Hecate, death can represent Narinder, based off this singular source, I guess plague can represent Kalamar, and Leshy, being the Bishop of Chaos, has no horsemen that he correlates to. I'm not 100% convinced they're supposed to be the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse. If they are, there was obviously some creative liberties taken because we have a Bishop of Plague, and only one source I found said that there's a Horseman of Plague. I might be totally wrong on that, though. But, I think they might be loosely based off of them, but I don't think that you can go one-to-one and correlate each one with a Horseman of the Apocalypse, especially since Leshy does not have a Horseman of the Apocalypse that he correlates to. Thank you for watching. Sorry I have a very monotone voice. That's what happens when I read things. I just kind of do it very monotonely. I hope you like this video. I hope it was very educational. Let me know if I missed some information or I got something incorrect. I'll try and edit the video if that's the case. Otherwise, subscribe and listen to my outro.